Hey film fans, welcome to CinePro, your ultimate hub for all movie recaps. From heartwarming classics to the latest blockbusters, our film begins in a place in the middle of Korea. There was a fire in a large building. A firefighter named Hong was trying to climb the building to rescue people. Unfortunately, the rope he was hanging from caught fire and burned, causing him to fall hard to the ground without anything to protect him. He saw his entire life flash before his eyes, but suddenly he got up again and ran to check on the girl he was trying to save. The surprise was that he was talking to the girl and her family, but no one could see or hear him. Suddenly, he heard a voice calling his name from afar. He saw two formally dressed individuals smiling at him. They were Mac and Sean, guardians who would assist him through the stages of judgment. Of course, no one else could see them but him. Hong tried to warn them to stay away from the fire, but then he was surprised to see his friends and people gathered around him as he lay on the ground. Sean approached him and said, "This is your body. You are currently dead. Come with us because the time for judgment has come, and we are here to help you through the 7 stages of trials." Mac added, "Hurry up, the boss is waiting for us and we have to go to him immediately." Hong couldn't comprehend what he was hearing and stepped back in shock, looking at his friends mourning his death. At that moment, he felt deep sadness that he died without seeing his mother, who was probably upset with him. Then, his body began to fade into the air and was pulled toward a large entrance, screaming that he needed to see his mother. The guardians were deeply moved because even after his death, he cared about seeing his mother. They arrived at a place with thousands of people from different places heading toward the gates of judgment. Hong met the leader in charge, named Reem, who had previously helped many souls through the stages of judgment. Reem approached Hong and congratulated him for being a good person, but Hong, still in shock, ignored him and moved on until they reached the gates of judgment in the first stage. Suddenly, they arrived at a terrifying place filled with fire and a volcano called Mount of Murder. Reem shocked him by asking, "Have you ever killed someone in your life?" Hong replied, "No, I've never killed anyone." Reem warned him, "Be careful. You're a firefighter, and if someone died because of your actions at work, you could be held accountable. That might be why you're here." Hong reached a place with large gates on the ground that opened to reveal a massive pit filled with fire. He saw people struggling, trying to escape, but unable to, burning in the sea of flames. The judges accused Hong of neglecting a colleague at work, leaving him to die. As punishment, they sentenced him to remain in the pit of fire for 5 years to atone for the sin of not saving his colleague. Reem defended him and requested a thorough review of the events of that day, which led to his colleague's death. The judges reviewed the incident and found that Hong had tried to save his colleague, but couldn't move the rock trapping him. At that moment, his colleague asked him to leave and save others. When Hong followed his colleague's advice, he managed to rescue 8 people from the fire. Reem argued that Hong's actions were heroic and should be taken into account. The fire judge, seeing Hong's bravery and his efforts to help others, declared him innocent and allowed him to proceed to the next trial. Hong, lost in thought, wondered why the guardians were helping him. They explained that they had made a deal with the king of hell, allowing them to move to the next stage of judgment. The deal was that if they could help a significant number of dead souls pass the stages of judgment peacefully, they would be allowed to return to life. They arrived at a court called Indolence, where lazy people who did not work or do good in life were judged. Here, Sean explained everything Hong had done in his life, highlighting how he always helped people regardless of the circumstances. She clarified that despite accidentally disturbing a beehive that caused harm to his friends, he tried to help them. She also mentioned another incident where he broke a Lamborghini while trying to rescue a cat from a building. Despite these accidents, the court ruled him innocent because he risked his life to save the cat. The court asked him why he lived his life the way he did. He replied, "For money." The court was shocked by his answer and reversed its decision, sentencing him to punishment. Afterward, he saw massive machines attacking lazy people, eating their bones, and throwing them to the fish. The guardians did their best to help Hong, pleading with the court to reconsider his life. They explained that he worked tirelessly and neglected his health to earn money, not out of selfishness, but to support his sick mother and help his brother get into university. Moved by the truth, the judge declared him innocent, allowing him to pass this stage safely. They then boarded a boat to the 3rd stage. Suddenly, strange creatures attacked them. They drew their weapons to fight off the creatures and managed to defeat many of them. The boat's captain tried to protect the vessel while Mac defended it alone to save their leader. At the last moment, Mac struck a pillar, causing rocks to fall on the creatures, allowing them to escape. Mac said that such events could only happen if someone from Hong's family had died and become a vengeful spirit. Reem decided to visit Hong's family to uncover the truth. He went to their house and found that Hong's mother was alive, but his brother, Sue, had died. Reem saw Sue's vengeful spirit trying to escape escape. He pursued it, attempting to stop it with his weapon, but the spirit evaded his attacks and escaped. Frustrated, Reem was determined to uncover the reason behind Sue's actions. He visited the military base where Sue had served and overheard soldiers talking about Sue, claiming he had deserted the army. But something didn't add up for Reem. Reem disguised himself as a colonel to question the unit commander about Sue. The commander accused Sue of killing a soldier and became defensive, attacking Reem out of fear. This confirmed Reem's suspicion that the commander was responsible for Sue's death. Meanwhile, Hong was being interrogated by the judge of deceit and lies. He was accused of writing deceptive letters to the girl whose father died in the fire, pretending to be her father. The judge immediately ordered Hong to be tied up and punished by having his tongue cut out. Fortunately, Reem was able to communicate with them remotely through spirit and thought, defending Hong's actions. It turned out that Hong had written false letters to his mother, describing a beautiful life and great wealth to reassure her and bring her joy. Reem argued that these were merely attempts to. She ended it peacefully, saying that he makes the people he cares about happy, gives them hope, and a reason to live when they see that Hong did all of this to give people hope in life. The governor forgives his actions because his intentions weren't harmful. After the trial, Reem lied to Hong, telling him his family was fine, but at the same time, he told the team the truth about Hong's brother. Reem went back in time to see what happened on the day of Motsu's death and discovered that his friend, Dong, accidentally shot him while fixing the weapon's safety switch. Afterward, Dong ran to the unit commander to inform him, but unfortunately, instead of saving the young man, they decided to bury him and hide all the evidence because the commander was about to get promoted and didn't want any trouble. Reem watches in sorrow as they bury the young man alive. At the same time, Hong reaches the hell of injustice and sees people frozen for many years, paying the price for their crimes of not helping others. Luckily for Hong, due to his nature and his job as a firefighter, always helping people, he wouldn't be judged here. He passed this stage safely and moved on to the next phase. While on the cable car, the girl tells him that all the Guardians had their memories erased, except for the team leader, Reem. Maj prevents the girl from revealing the team's secrets, but she accidentally slips, and Hong realizes that Jose is the vengeful spirit. As soon as Hong learns this, his angry spirit shakes the entire place to the point that the cable car breaks, and the Guardians are about to fall. Hong quickly regains his composure at the last moment and extends his hand to help them. They arrive at the hell of betrayal, where people who betrayed their loved ones are judged by being surrounded by mirrors to see themselves clearly. Luckily, Hong was a respectable person in his life and never betrayed anyone, allowing him to pass this trial safely. Meanwhile, Reem finds the location of the vengeful spirit, Sue, who was at a disco. The spirit tries to kill one of those responsible for his death and burial while alive. Reem quickly attacks the spirit, and they fight in the air. Reem manages to capture the spirit using a magical rope and ties it to the building. Reem tells the spirit that he needs to forgive those who wronged him, including someone named Dong, so he can regain his life anew. Otherwise, he would be destroyed and die forever. However, the conversation backfires, and the spirit remembers the betrayal of his closest friend. This feeling makes him extremely angry, creating a strong wave of rage that allows him to free himself. On the other side, Dong leaves the party drunk and overwhelmed with guilt. He decides to reveal to Sue's mother the location of her son's body, unable to bear the guilt any longer. He gives her a drawing that leads her to the location. At the same time, Sue's vengeful spirit sees everything and approaches Reem, telling him that he has decided to forgive Dong after seeing his guilt and his effort to inform the mother of her son's burial site. Sue asks Reem to act as a mediator so he can speak to Dong's friend one last time, promising to support him in anything afterward. Through the spirit, Sue tells his friend that he has forgiven him and asks him not to shed tears over the past anymore because he has been forgiven. Meanwhile, Hong arrives at the hell of violence and sees a large pit he must jump over to reach the trials. Suddenly, Hong falls through the pit and hits a large rock. Maj manages to grab his team and descends to save Hong. Unfortunately, Hong falls toward them, causing everyone to fall back into the pit. Maj rushes toward them, but Hong manages to save Sean, just as he used to help people in his life. The surprise is that their fall stops at the last moment, just before they are about to crash to the ground. The trial of violence begins, and Hong is accused of hitting his brother in high school. This was a terrible act, especially since his brother was malnourished at the time due to their extreme poverty. At that time, Sue couldn't forgive his brother for the beating. Hong felt guilty and decided to leave home the next day. The judge declares Hong guilty of committing acts of violence against his family and plans to send him to a pit where people are punished by being stoned. Quickly, before the judge sentences Hong, Sean asks the judge to postpone the ruling to the final trial because they are connected. Of course, by doing so, she relinquishes her privileges in the afterlife if Hong is indeed guilty in the final trial. Unfortunately, the Guardians discover the truth about what happened that day. Sue wakes up and sees his brother sitting in front of their mother. He wants to know what his brother is doing, but Sue soon realizes that his brother Hong was trying to smother their mother with a pillow. Sue tried to stop him, and Hong, upset, threw the pillow away and hit his brother. Hong attempted this because at that time, he had lost hope in life. His family was poor, and their mother was very sick. The child thought thought the only way to end her suffering was through death. This was the source of his guilt, and afterward, he ran away from home and never returned to his family. After the Guardians learned what happened, they realized there was no hope for them to succeed and pass the upcoming trials, especially since the final trial in Hell was about filial disobedience. Meanwhile, Reem tries to finish and find Sue's body so his spirit can finally start its journey to reincarnation. When he arrives at the camp in Seoul, he is shocked to find Sue's mother there, holding a paper and pleading with the soldiers to bring her son's body. The unit commander sees her, runs toward her, hits her, tears the paper in her hand, and throws the lamp on the ground, causing her to faint from exhaustion and pain. Sue sees the commander attacking his mother and hitting her, causing him to become very angry. He can't control himself and suddenly begins to transform into the vengeful spirit he had been before. He breaks free from the restraints Reem had placed on him, grabs Reem tightly and throws him away with all his strength. Overwhelmed with rage, Sue creates a massive wave of anger that engulfs all the soldiers in the area, opens a portal to the afterlife, and wreaks havoc everywhere. Reem tries his best to save people from death. Fortunately, Maj manages to enter through the portal of the dead to the living world, attacks Sue, and delivers a strong blow. Reem seizes the opportunity to capture Sue with the magical rope, ending the madness Sue had caused. At the same time, Hong's trial begins. The king of Hell himself, named Yomra, was accused of attempting to kill his mother and assaulting his brother. The ruler tells him that his mother knew her son had tried to kill her, but she stayed silent and hid all the sorrow inside her. Because of this, his punishment will be increased. The ruler says that Hong will be punished in hell forever for committing the most heinous crime in existence, attempting to kill the person who gave him life, his mother. But suddenly, the world begins to shake as a voice starts speaking to Hong's mother. It turns out that Reem used his power to allow Sob to communicate with his mother in a dream. Sob apologizes on behalf of his brother and tells his mother that after Hong left, he worked hard for 15 years to support them. Since the night of the incident, Hong had been burdened with immense guilt for what he did. The mother tells Sob that she forgave her son Hong a very long time ago and apologizes for not being able to take better care of her children. Hong hears this, breaks down crying, and even the king himself is moved by the scene. The king declares that he cannot punish Hong for his crime because the victim had forgiven him a long time ago. This allows Hong to reincarnate once again. Hong hears this and thanks Shun and the Guardians for helping him during the trial stages before disappearing into a bright light. Back in the human world, Reem decides to accompany Sob as their 49th and final reincarnation. Thus, his deal with the King of Hell is completed, allowing him to reincarnate and be born anew. They arrive in Hell and are met with a massive number of demons. They begin fighting the demons to clear a path to the King of Hell himself. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.